you're brand new to wing foiling
Yes.
and no preparation, and you dried yourself off on the reef.
Exactly. That's where you get caught with your pants down, is you try something where you're overconfident and underprepared. And that's, like the worst, not the worst case scenario, but that's what leads to those very humiliating experiences, and humbling, hopefully, if
Yeah.
you can take it that way of, you know, getting like wing foiling. I'd say that the risk factor wasn't that big because I went out in conditions that weren't too crazy, but I still, the first time I went out, I thought I'd get it right away, and I ended up on the reef just with all of my gear getting scratched up and my feet getting covered in sea urchins, and just a very frustrating experience.
And you
So
lost a lot of friends because you're Jesse
then,
Richman, who's the greatest kiter ever, who's literally
oh,
sitting on this reef.
well, it was also frustrating because there's like these little kids, like this kid Marlon that I've been working with, that
Harry on Andrews was passing by.
Oh man, like literally everybody, anyone from these little kids to these old men, just like cruising by. They're like, "Hey, try this." I'm like, "You just shut up!" Like, and then just, I don't know, looking at it, and you're like, "It's okay, I'm a kook." And then the next time going back, much more prepared, having better equipment for that, for my skill level, going to a place where there is no reef, and learning from those experiences, that makes a big difference.
So you can honestly say wing foiling is kind of challenging when
For
you first
sure.
start.
I mean, I absolutely love it now, and it's a challenge now to decide what sport I'm gonna do, which is awesome. There are definitely days that are, more favored for kiting or wing foiling, but beginning, I was like, immediately like, I'm gonna take my prone surf foil board, which is tiny, it was a 26-liter board, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna grab this wing and go. And of course, the first day, like, I ended up on this reef swimming, like completely covered in cuts by the end of it. I ramshackled my foil, just because I was like, went out at a spot that was a challenging spot where if you don't get up and go, you end up the wind pushes you onto this reef. And I felt so much rage. I was like livid.
Mike,
But
he didn't ask the questions on what he should do wing foiling.
but then the next time I was like, and like that day I called up my buddies. I was like, this sport sucks. I hate it. Never doing it again. That's the dumbest. And then a few days later, I was like, all right, let me try, like a 60-liter board at an easy spot. And obviously that worked out a lot better. And then I kind of slowly worked backwards down to my smaller boards. But yeah, that first day I was so frustrated and so pissed because I thought I should be able to do it. I'm like, I know how to do these sports. Like, I know how to kite and windsurf and foil. Like, I got this.
I love it. I think it's great that you're sharing that, Jess, because a lot of people think like, some of the best watermen in the world, they don't ever fall. They don't ever screw up. They don't struggle. They're just good. And I would say far from that. I think they probably struggle and fail more, and they learn from it and keep going,
Dude,
i.e. why you're so good.
Yeah, I mean, one, it puts it into perspective. I mean, for everybody out there trying to learn how to wing foil, when you come from no experience in wind, no experience on the water, that just like, now you have maybe a better idea of like, why is it so hard? Like it's hard for everybody. But Jesse, what happened since like that time where you were like, this sport like sucks, it's stupid, there's no reason why I would do that, to now you love it? What changed?
I mean,
He got off the reef.
Yeah. I figured out very quickly how to ride to my skill level. So yeah, the first few sessions after that, I went out at really easy spots and tried the easiest gear I can find, which I would say is so essential in any of these sports, is starting with beginner gear. And nobody wants to say beginner gear because they don't want to be considered a beginner, but it is so much easier when you're on easy gear, and then all of a sudden you can progress your riding style so quickly and then move on to that more advanced gear. But yeah, my mistake wing foiling was trying to start on advanced gear, and that's just a recipe for disaster.
Very well.
What
We
is
have
your
a Go ahead.
what
Gwen.
is your favorite part of wing foiling? What would you say, like, this is the one thing that makes wing foiling to you, like, you love it?
I mean, since I started riding a high aspect wing in waves, it is the coolest, and especially here, like on Maui, it's pretty awesome because I can go down to Hokipa and I can launch at this legendary spot that we're not allowed to launch a kite at, but you can go out with a wing and ride super long waves all summer long when there's, the conditions aren't really that fun for kiting. The waves are pretty small, it's kind of gusty, and none of those things matter. And I can just, make turn days that normally wouldn't be that exciting for kiting into incredibly fun days winging.